Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. So glad to have you all here with us today. I know we're just on the hour here, so hopefully we'll see a lot more people coming in as we get started. But until then, I just wanted to welcome you all to our Taste of Asia event. For those who don't know me yet, I'm Marissa. I am the head of operations here at Wonderful, and I'm really excited to be bringing on Julie with us today. She's going to be making Vietnamese spring rolls with peanut dipping sauce, a homemade recipe. It's actually her mom's recipe, so very special. And for those that are tuning in with us already, if you could just drop in the chat, let us know if you're cooking with us live or just planning to make the dish later, and let us know where you're tuning in from. We would love to hear from you and see who all is here today. And speaking of the chat, if you do have other questions throughout the event, please feel free to drop into the chat box any of those questions. I'll be keeping an eye on those, and we'll try and take those as best as time allows for us today. So with that, I know we have a lot of you that signed up today, whether you're watching live or watching this recording later, who might be new to Wonderful. So just to tell you a little bit about who we are, Wonderful is a global collective that specializes in helping all women travel the world. And we connect our community both online and in person. We have a thriving online membership network that I know a lot of you here are already a part of. We also have local chapter events in 50 cities and counting all around the world, global summits, small group trips, and so much more. And we're also the creators of the WITS Travel Creator and Brand Summit, as well as Wanderfest, which is the first outdoor festival for women travelers. Above all, really, though, while we connect women travelers together, we also really try to focus on amplifying the voices of women and all underrepresented people in the travel industry, while really ultimately striving toward making this industry one that is more equitable, inclusive, and thoughtful. So if you're not a member already, you can join us as a member right now. And it's a really great way to connect with other travel loving women from all around the world, whether you're at home or, of course, while you're traveling as well. And we put on events just like this one multiple times every week. You'll also have access to our local in-person chapter events that are finally picking back up again in a lot of our cities. And our members also have access to exclusive benefits like members only discounts, our exclusive job board, access to other travel experts and coaching sessions, as well as our on-demand content library that has the recordings from all of our past events, as well as this one, which will live in there as well. So if you do sign up today, we have a special link that I'm going to put in the chat for you. And you can use the code SPRINGROLL15, all caps, and you'll actually get $15 off your annual membership. So I'm going to pop that in there right now. And I have a special surprise that I don't think anyone knows this yet. So you all will be the first to know publicly. And that is that our membership prices are actually going to be increasing pretty soon. So we have some really fun things in the works for our benefits for our wonderful members. And so if you are thinking about joining, now is a really great time to do that, because you not only get that discount, but you'll be locked into our current price as long as you don't cancel your membership at any point beyond that. So hopefully you will join us there. If you do, say hello. And I hope to see you there. I see a lot of you chiming in the chat. I'm going to share some of these comments here. Cheryl is going to be cooking along. She's in Saskatoon, Canada. We have Rose Kimball who's joining us. Amanda is in Columbus. She's going to be cooking later. So many of you here with us. This is great to see. Cassette is in the Netherlands. Hello from the US. Great to see you here. Look at all of you joining us. This is fantastic. And Anna's in South Florida. She's eating lunch, which is great because I know I'm going to be hungry after watching Julie cooking today. That's for sure. So thank you all for joining us today. Please keep those comments coming. Finally, I just want to send a huge thanks to our wonderful brand partners for making this event possible. And without further ado, I I'm so excited to introduce Julie to you. Let me bring her up here on stage while I tell you a little bit more about her. So Julie is a Vietnamese American food blogger based in Central Florida. She started her food blog, The Little Kitchen, in 2009. Hi, Julie. And she loves to share recipes that are inspired by her heritage as well as her travels. She loves sharing tips about cooking, baking, and even food photography. Her book on that very subject is set to be released this month, so stay tuned for more on that. But I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to pass it off to Julie, let you take it from here. Super excited to cook with you today.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. Hi, everyone. I was looking at the comments. I love that the people from around the world, and really excited to share with you my mom's recipe for Vietnamese spring rolls. And something that I get a comment on is, so these are not cooked, they're not fried. It's made with rice paper, and people asking me if they're summer rolls or salad rolls. And I say, nope, they are spring rolls. So we can get into an argument about that or not, but I'll share a little bit more about that. I want to start with going through the ingredients and talking about the ingredients and where you can find them. You can cook along with me. Marissa has the link that she can share for the exact recipe. I did forget to put rice paper on there, the most essential thing, but I'll add that later. And I also have other spring roll recipes. If you don't like shrimp, you can do it with tofu or avocado. And I also do it's also my mom's recipe is a lemongrass beef version of spring rolls. They are so good. They're really, really good. So let's first talk about the rice paper. So I've got all these different kinds of rice paper. These are huge actually, and you can use these really big ones. And I brought a ruler out because I thought someone would ask. They're 11 inches wide. They're really, really big. And I'm showing you the actual brands. The Ladies brand's one of my family favorite brands. This is really big, and if you really look at it, let's see, this on the back, this one shows the ingredients. It has tapioca and rice flour. So there's a couple of different kinds of rice paper, and they'll still call them rice paper, even though it only has tapioca. And I will say that it's actually harder if you're a beginner at wrapping spring rolls. It's harder to work with the tapioca, straight only tapioca, no rice. And they call them tapioca sheets, but we still call them rice paper. My family did, because I would ask my mom, like, how come this only has tapioca? It's much easier to actually work with the rice paper that has tapioca and rice flour in it. And then here's another brand that I really love. It's a really good quality also. I always laugh when I see the name of the brand. It's called 100% okay. And I'm telling Marissa, I'm like, it's not 100% great. It's 100% okay. Yeah, these are two of my favorite brands. You can find them at your local Asian grocery stores if you have them, or ethnic grocery shops. I would recommend, if you have a local shop, to like frequent them and support them, especially through the hard times right now. With everything going on, the climate, the anti-Asian sentiment, I'm talking about in the United States, and also around the world, but supporting the local Asian markets and even restaurants that are Vietnamese and Asian owned, they would love your support. So rice paper. I'm going to talk about rice noodles. So today I'm actually going to use these rice noodles. They're a little bit thicker. And then there is another type of rice noodle. It's very, very thin. These cook in 2 to 3 minutes. These are a little messier to eat because the noodles are really small. They'll kind of come out. I actually love these noodles, but these are actually easier to work with. So I'm gonna cook with these noodles today. All right. And we're gonna make the peanut dipping sauce, also my mom's recipe. I wanted to share with you, it has peanut butter in it, of course. And also I use hoisin sauce. So I actually bought this. It's so funny because I don't know if you guys are on the app Clubhouse, but I met an entrepreneur named Lisa in Portland, Oregon through Clubhouse, and I ordered her family's hoisin sauce. It's called Tan Tan Foods. and I've been using it and I love it. But I just wanted to show you the other brand that you can get in Asian markets. And this is what we use to put in pho, which is a Vietnamese beef noodle soup. I absolutely love it. But today I'm using this hoisin sauce. And if you want, you can use a little bit of fish sauce in the sauce. You don't have to, it's optional. I just put a little splash in it. All right, so let's start out by cooking the noodles. I already have, you could probably hear my exhaust fan a little bit, but I'm gonna move the camera a little bit here so you can see. I already have my pot here boiling. And I usually use a really big pot, but this is gonna be a little bit easier for me to handle today. I use a heavy Le Creuset cast iron, and it's really, really heavy. So I'm actually using a wok today, a non-stick wok. So the water is boiling, and now I'm just gonna put in the rice noodles, okay? And I found the recipe, you only need 5 ounces to make 10 to 12 rolls. You're gonna actually have extra rice noodles. It doesn't look like a lot, but will make a lot, I promise you. So this is how much it is. This is half the package. And I'm just gonna drop it in, and I'm gonna set a timer because I'm gonna sit here and talk to you guys. I'm gonna forget. 5 to 6 minutes for these. This other one that I showed you, it only takes 2 to 3 minutes to boil. You want to go specifically on. You want to do specifically what's on the package instructions, depending on what size noodles you get. All right. So while that is cooking, I'm going to show you, I'm going to kind of show you my setup here. Okay. So you want a smooth plate. It's pretty smooth. I usually use actually a round white plate, but I wanted you to be able to see the rice paper, so I'm using a colored plate. And I have this nifty little rice paper holder. It has pretty warm water in it. I don't like dipping my rice paper in cold water. It just takes longer for it to soften, but you don't need to soak it in there. I'll show you how to do that. And I cheated a little bit. I have some noodles already cooked up, and I cooked up my shrimp, and I've got Thai basil and cilantro. You can put it in herb keeper in your fridge, but I just have it in a glass cup with some water, and it really perks up the herbs. That's my little kitchen tip of the day. And I've got some lettuce and some cucumber. My mom does not put cucumber in her spring rolls, but you can if you want a little crunch. She put cilantro and Thai basil, shrimp, and rice noodles. And you know, there's actually a version that you can get a lot of Vietnamese restaurants that has pork in it also. Okay, so let me check on the rice noodles. I'm going to mix them up a little bit. And there's still 3 minutes left. And actually, it's 4 minutes. I mentioned earlier you want a really big pot of water just because you don't want gummy noodles. It's like the worst. So you need to have enough water. So it always seems like this is just a little bit of noodles. Why am I using this much water? And you actually need it. So let's quickly make the peanut dipping sauce. So I have everything already portioned out here. And I'm going to move stuff around for myself here, y'all. I don't know if these bowls look familiar to you. I love these bowls. So first it is, I'm looking to make sure I don't tell you the wrong measurement, a half a cup of peanut butter. And I wish that someone would invent an easy way to not get butter all over yourself when you're measuring it. Like, come on, please. Okay. And then this is just 2 tablespoons of hoisin sauce. It's really easy to make. And I'm just putting in a little splash. And I forgot to mince my garlic, so I'm going to do that next. This is a teaspoon of sugar. Just going to mix it up. It's going to be as best as you can. It's not going to be that great, right? Because there's more to come here. So let me move this out of the way, and I'm going to mince the garlic. So I have to tell you a story about garlic. I have friends who say, why don't you just get a garlic press? Why don't you just buy a jar of, it's hard to do this looking through the camera, you guys. Why don't you just buy a jar of peeled garlic or just buy some frozen garlic? I just have this memory of my mom. She's still alive, but I love just her smashing the garlic and cutting it and mincing it. And it's just, I just can't bring myself to buy a garlic press because this is literally, and I'm looking here because I don't want to cut myself. Literally what, it sounds so weird, but it brings me joy. To smash the garlic, to peel it, and then to chop it up. So a couple of things you can do ahead of time. You can make the rice noodles the day before. I'm going to show you how you can do that, and then how you can revive them. I have a little kitchen hack trick for that. And you can also make this peanut sauce a day ahead. So there we go. I'm just going to store it in the fridge in a sealed container, and then you're good to go. I know someone was saying to me that like it seems like it's a lot of prep and it's too hard. But if you plan your prep a little bit, then it's not too bad. Okay, so now it's like, oh, this is so hard to mix. This is not what it's supposed to look like. Now we add in, because we want to try to mix it in as much as possible. We're going to add in 2/3 cup of water. And then this is where I get my whisk out. And it's gonna, in the beginning, it's not gonna look that right. And you don't want to splash yourself, so you're gonna start out very slowly. And usually I say put in half the water. There we go. No, I got the cue. The noodles are ready. Where's my chopsticks? And yes, I use chopsticks when I make spaghetti and when I make rice noodles. I also use chopsticks when I make bacon too. Okay. I'm gonna shift the camera over here so y'all can see this. And then move. Do a little juggle here. There we go. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing here. And you can see my messy kitchen a little bit. All right. All right, now I can, sorry for the juggling here. It's a little kitchen. There we go. Okay. So you want to be safe. I've got my little pot holder here, and I'm turning on really cold water. I wanted to show you this colander. I'm obsessed with it. I just got it recently. So gross to put your colander at the bottom of your sink. So what I'm doing is dumping out some of the water as much as I can until the noodles start coming out. And then I'm going to drop it in here. And I've got the water on cold, okay? I'm going to go drop this over here on a trivet. And what you're going to do is think opposite of pasta. You don't want to rinse pasta, but you absolutely want to rinse and drain rice noodles. So you're going to do it for about a minute because you don't want it to be gummy. You don't want them to stick together, and it's really not going to be, I'm hoping you can see this. Cheryl, you don't have hoisin sauce. I will come up with an idea. I love that. Thank you. I will come up with an idea for you. I don't know what to, I need to switch. Oh, you know what? I'm going to move the camera a little bit because I feel like you can't see. There you go. Now you can see what I'm doing here. I'll have to come up with an idea for you since you can't get hoisin sauce. I will get back to you in comments, okay? I will not forget. So this is what I'm doing. You can use your hands too once it starts cooling, but it's cold water and you want to do this for about a minute. but I wanted to, yeah, I'm touching it and it's cold now, so it's good. And you just want to make sure you can even do this. If any of the glutinous water is still in here, it's just going to stick together and they're not going to be separate noodles, if that makes sense. But yeah, I love this colander. Have it expandable and it just fits right here. So what you're going to do is just let this dry now. It doesn't need to cool because you've already cooled it down. And now you're just going to let it dry. And this, you can actually do this a few hours before. I would advise doing that. And that's why you can make it the day before. All right. I hope that was helpful on how to make rice noodles. Let's see. This is always the trick. It's like, how can I move this back so you can see me? Okay. One thing I wanted to show you. So when you make it the day before, and you could see, I don't know if you can see, those were pretty soft because they've just been boiled. Now these are hard and stiff. You just put them in the microwave for like 15 to 30 seconds, let them cool, and then they will go back to, so these are like, I hope you can see that okay. Versus very soft, very, very soft and very chewy when they're freshly cooked. But yeah, I do that all the time. And you can actually do like a noodle bowl with your leftovers. Put all your veggies in your bowl with your rice noodles. But unless you're like protein, the shrimp here is served cold. So because it's cold, you want to after you microwave the noodles, you want to let them cool before you make it. But if you're doing like grilled beef, like I have in my other recipe, you can totally, sorry for the noise. You can totally keep the noodles warm. And it's obviously your preference too. All right, I'm gonna finish making this. It's going to, once it starts coming together, it's gonna start looking like it's curdled too. And you will see, it always, it's like one of those things where you're making it, you're like, am I doing this right? It doesn't seem right. Even when I was making it the other day, I always think that, and then you will see, it will be some creamy dreaminess. I don't know, have you ever had peanut dipping sauce before at a Vietnamese restaurant or made it? I'm curious. So there, it's starting to come together. And it would have been better, I have it in the instructions, to do it a third cup at a time. And then, well, I'll make it a mess. We knew I was going to do this. Maybe I only knew this. Okay, it's getting there. And I'm looking this way because it's hard to tell. It's hard to like measure your movements looking through the camera. Here we go. I'm looking that up. And now that a lot of the liquid has blended in, I can go a lot faster and not for fear of like splashing water on my nose. And it's just a little bit more where it's going to be really smooth. Hopefully you can see that okay. So I'm curious if what your favorite thing to order at a Vietnamese restaurant is. I know like my favorite thing to eat when I was a kid, and still to this day, is pho. It's spelled Pho. And I know a lot of people call it pho or pho, like pronounce it like Faux, but it's actually pho, and you pronounce it with a question at the end, pho. And it's a beef noodle soup that is really, really good. It's pretty much comfort food. And then there's another dish called Bung Rieu. It's B-U-N, and then you got a space, and it's R-I-E-U. And it is rice noodles in like a tomato pork broth with tomatoes and tofu and shrimp. And sometimes they can make it vegetarian. And it's really, really good. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Look at this. See how smooth that is? It took a little bit. It's like, took a little bit of perseverance. You got it. So I'm just going to put some in the little serving dish here. And then if you want, don't have to. If you want to be a little extra, you can put some chopped peanuts on top so people know what's in them. All right, I'm going to put it off to the side. And we're going to start rolling. Does anyone have any questions? Let me know if you have any questions. I'm really excited to show you how to do these. So one of the things I was going to mention is once you can use the same pot to boil the shrimp. So what I would have done, I wanted to minimize the time of bringing more water to boil. But basically, after you drain the noodles, I wipe the pot out because you're going to see a little rim of like the glutinous rice, like kind of stuck to the side of the pan. Wipe that out and then add more water and then put salt in it, and you're going to boil up some shrimp. I actually prefer cooking shrimp that has, you want to devein it but leave the peel on. Now what I did was what I had already in my freezer was peeled shrimp already. It had a tail on it, and I went ahead and peeled it. And so I'm going to show you a technique that a lot of restaurants do. And I'm going to be honest, when I was growing up, my family didn't do this. It's really for the gram that people have been doing this, and restaurants too. It does make for a flatter spring roll when you fold it, but if you want more shrimp, I'm going to show you a couple different ways to roll them. But basically, I'm just taking them and cutting them lengthwise. And if you Google Vietnamese spring rolls, or you look at photos from restaurants, a lot of them do this, but you don't have to do this. This part, if it's an extra step that's going to keep you from making it and enjoying it, you don't have to do this. If you clicked over to the link for my recipe, I didn't do it in that post. So these are actually large shrimp, but they make even larger. And if you're using smaller, you definitely don't want to do this because it's not necessary. All right, so I cut a few of them because I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to roll them. The way restaurants roll them, and basically how you see them on Instagram and on social media, and then how I used to roll them when I was a kid. How about that? All right. Let me get my plate all ready here. And I have all my stuff set out. Okay, this had the sugar in it. I told you the noodles and the shrimp. I'm using butter lettuce. You can use romaine or red leaf or green leaf. I remember as a kid, my mom used red leaf or green leaf, whatever was on sale. And I do have cucumbers. Again, I told you my mom does not put cucumbers in hers. And I texted her this morning to verify. I've got Thai basil and cilantro, and it's in a glass with some water, and you can store it in the fridge that way. Okay, so I'm going to take I'm going to show you here. It's easier to show you. So it's a rice paper holder, and I just put pretty warm water in it because I want to show you. It's been sitting there for a little while. I'm gonna change out the water. Sorry about that. So the thicker your rice paper, the longer it will take to soften. And so the thinner, the least time it will take to soften, right? And some people will say use cold water. We actually really like to use warm water. So I'm going to have it to the side here. Let me see. Actually, I'm going to move this for a second. You can see. Because this is the big, I don't know if I want to say tip or like, this is a really important part of making spring rolls and like where people get frustrated. So this is what the rice paper looks like because it's pressed on like bamboo slats. It's really pretty. So I just put it into the rice paper holder, and you just go boop, 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 and then you take it out. Don't let it soak. Don't. It's not going to bathe. It's not supposed to nurse in the water. It's just going to one little dip around just to make sure it's wet, and then you're good. Okay. So I'm just going to move this over a little bit, and you're going to see that it's not soft yet. It's okay. So let's do first for the gram. So I'm going to do the sliced shrimp here. You could do 3 or 4, just depends, or 5. It just depends on the width of your rice paper. So I think I'm going to fold in the sides because that's the way my mom makes it. So that's why we're going to go with 4 here. And then I would usually leave it, but this lettuce looks kind of, so I'm just going to pull that off. So the back third is where you want to put the shrimp, and the front third, closer to you, is where you're putting the lettuce, okay? And then this is the fun part, is getting the noodles. It's always, I'm just pulling it off with a fork. I usually just use my fingers. And some will say that is a lot of rice noodles. I don't care. You get to pick how much rice noodles you get to put on there. Everyone gets to pick. All right, so I put a piece of cucumber, and then taking out the Thai basil, and just put some mini leaves. Some people use mint, and some people will use lemon balm too. If you're able to get lemon balm, fresh lemon balm, it is so good. It depends on like what you're putting in, what protein and what other ingredients you're putting in your spring rolls. And you know what? What's really cool about spring rolls is you can customize them yourself. Like really, like avocado could go in here, and it's really, really good. I mentioned pork earlier. You take pork shoulder and you actually boil it in salted water, and you have to let it completely cool. And you slice it really thin, and you can put it right next to the shrimp, so you can have pork and shrimp spring rolls. So now I want to show you how you know when it's ready to roll. I did, no pun intended. Okay, how you know it's ready to roll is when it's soft like this. See what a difference it was. So what you're going to do is, I'm turning this so that you can see it. You're taking the sides and folding it in, and you want to make sure your fingers are dry. Like if you touch anything that's sticky, I should have told you, I have a towel off to the side here, and I'm just drying my hands between each step. You want to just have that, develop that habit. And that's the other stickler, that people get sticky, or like it's hard to roll because your hands are wet or they're sticky from touching something else. So you want your hands to be bone dry. So I am folding the other side. All right, turning it back, and I'm grabbing the end, and see where my fingers are? I'm tucking it, and I want to be intentional. I'm rolling it tight. So you're rolling it so that everything is folded in. I'm hoping you could see it, and I could show you another angle in a little bit. It's already rolled. You still got the shrimp. Everything is encased in the rice paper. All the other ingredients, except I do have a loose Thai basil here, and it's okay. So there, I'm going to take that and roll it. Oh my goodness. And there it is. It's so pretty, isn't it? And I just want to eat it. So you want to have another plate off to the side, and you can just put it on the plate, and it will, let's see, here, let's kind of stick into it. When you put it on the plate, try not to put it against other ones, because they will stick, and then that's how you'll get holes too. So I'm just going to put it up to the side here, and I'm going to make another one. Let me know if you have any questions, if you want me to keep making them, if you have questions about ingredients. How about I show you how I used to make them when I was a kid. They don't have to be fancy, because, they look the same. And they taste the same. So I just did the rice paper again. And sometimes you have to be a little patient. You might get all your ingredients on here, and it's still like this. It's not soft yet, ready to roll. And what you can do is, if you're a little greedy, you can set up a second plate and just have, while you're working on this one, having the rice paper getting ready and softened on another plate next to you. That's what we usually do. And I'll say that like the way we eat this as a family, as a kid, we'd have all these plates with all the ingredients all around, and everyone had their own plate, and everyone made their own spring rolls. And you would make it, and then you'd dip it in the sauce, and you'd eat it, and then when you were done, you'd make another one. And that's why I always say you have to serve these immediately because the rice paper doesn't really do really well in the refrigerator. If you have cooked ingredients like lemongrass beef in it, you can store it. And on a little tangent here. So basically, I put it in a sealed container, but I also take a wet paper towel and I wet it completely through, and then I wring it out and I put it on top and I put the lid on it, and then I put it in the refrigerator. And then when I go to microwave it, it's 15 to 30 seconds tops, and put that paper still on it. And then it will re-soften the paper. It's not exactly the same, but it works. But I wouldn't do that with like the cold shrimp. It wouldn't be as good. It looks like my paper is ready to go, and I'm gonna show you how my mom would roll them and how we rolled them when I was a kid. So we don't do the other shrimp on the other side. Everything is encased in lettuce. So the lettuce and then the noodles, and then I'm gonna show you basically it's just like I just gotta pull it off with the fork. There we go. And this is what I was saying. Like, if you try to roll your fingers with noodles like this, roll your spring rolls, it's just not going to work. And you're going to get frustrated and you'll be like, why? Why is this so hard? Why is it so frustrating? All right, let me bring the herbs closer. And then I'm putting on the cilantro. And you could do the shrimp after the noodles, or you could do whatever order, but everything is on top of the lettuce, is how we did it as a kid. And these shrimp are not sliced. These are the whole shrimp. We got 3 there. And the same exact technique. Fold in the sides. Fold in the sides. Remember, my fingers are dry. And then you take this bottom and see where my middle finger is. It's bracing the rest of the ingredients. And then roll tightly. And that's what it looks like. You don't really see the ingredients. You don't see the shrimp. It's not as exciting for Instagram, but guess what? It tastes the same way. So I'll do another one, and then let me know if you have any questions. And I don't know if Marissa wants to come on and chat, but that is how you make Vietnamese spring rolls. See the difference? And then if you look at, see how soft it is? And this is what I mentioned earlier. I'm drying my hands again. This is what I mentioned earlier is when you put them on a plate, don't put them touching. If they're touching, when you go to pull them apart, very likely you'll get a hole in one or both of them. And I'm putting the shrimp on. And these are a little bit small, so I'm going to do 4. So lettuce and then rice noodles. These are definitely a little stickier than the thinner ones. They also taste really good. I don't know if you've ever had a rice noodle bowl. Sometimes they do grilled shrimp or grilled pork or like grilled chicken. They're really good. And then at restaurants, they'll serve it with pickled daikon and pickled carrots. It's really, really good. Next is my cucumber. I love Thai basil. It's very aromatic, so it's like whenever I have it in the kitchen, you can just smell it. It smells so good. All right, we're gonna do it again. Remember, dry fingers, dry hands. I'm gonna fold in the sides, and then we're gonna roll it up. So I pick up the bottom, and then I have my middle fingers just kind of bracing the other ingredients, and then lay it down. And this is, I'm trying to keep this tight so that when you go to bite it, everything doesn't fall out. And there we go. Should I do one more? Oh, do I ever add carrots or bell peppers? So, yeah, um, yay! I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to try them. And I want to see your pictures when you make them, so definitely tag me on social if you post them. Yeah, I'm really excited for you all to try them too because it's so funny because a lot of times when you can see other people do things, it's like it just takes a little practice, And I will just say, I mean, I've been rolling these since I was a kid. I've been using chopsticks since I was a kid. That's why it just comes so naturally. And it just takes a little bit of practice. And then once you get it, it's like an aha moment and it's so exciting. And you can totally impress your family and friends. Um, yeah. So, and I think if you just start with make sure you have warm water and you're a little bit patient about um, the the rice paper softening up and making sure you keep a towel or paper towel handy to just make sure your fingertips are not sticky from the rice noodles or wet from the cilantro or the lettuce, then you're good to go. Um, so the question we got is, do you ever add carrots or bell peppers? You can totally add carrots and you can totally add bell peppers to this. It definitely makes it not as authentic, which is totally fine. Um, the lemongrass beef spring roll recipe that I shared, and we can share it if it's not in the comments. I can share it later on. I actually cook the beef with the red peppers, um, and I put them in the spring rolls too. It's really good. Um, it's really good. That is actually not authentic. So the lemongrass beef spring rolls is just beef cooked in lemongrass and garlic and like a marinade, and that that recipe is something that my mom made all the time. Like we sat around the dinner table and just ate it all the time. It was really good. It was really my favorite. And I'm married to we've been together for 22 years and gosh, we've been married for is it 17 years now? And he one day he came over and we were having the lemongrass beef spring rolls and he said to my mom, "Have you ever thought about adding onions and peppers to it?" And she was like, "Let me try it." And so he all started calling them fajitas because they have beef and they have onions and peppers, but it's with lemongrass and garlic and oyster sauce is one of the and sesame oil. So it's that part is authentic, but adding the peppers and onions is not. And sometimes, like you can add your own spin to things. I would just always say when we add our own spin to things, we can't really say, oh, this is authentic or this is Vietnamese anymore, right? Like, um, and it was so funny because actually when I posted that recipe, someone said this isn't Vietnamese. They actually told me that, and I said, well, my mom makes it, so this is the way we make it. So it's just that the whole argument of whether these are spring rolls or salad rolls or summer rolls. Um, I think that if you're not Vietnamese, then you shouldn't be making that argument with someone who is Vietnamese. So that's um, that's that's kind of my stance on that. So like however you want to, if you want to add your own spin to it, you can say inspired by. How do you have you would you ever? These are great questions. Um, would you ever oil the plate you were using to serve the spring rolls on so they don't stick? I would not, because then you would taste the oil. Um, I would say I wish that I could, because I don't really want to. I feel bad self promoting, but if you see on my Instagram account, My Instagram is The Little Kitchen, and it's all spelled out one word, but there's no E in kitchen. I posted a video. So basically, I posted I when I took pictures of this recipe, I had all of them all laid out like this. But when I did the video that I shared, oh, thank you, Marissa. Um, I cut them up. And so this is another way to serve them is cutting them in half. And you know what? I'll just do it. Let me grab a knife. And then I'm going to show you one more. I'm gonna grab a new knife because I don't want to. And this is not the knife I would usually use, y'all. But this is what I could grab without making a mess and loud noises. But basically, just take it and cut it in half. And you can see how, look, I'm already cutting a hole because you're supposed to eat these immediately. I already have a hole in this one. So here's my, and what you'll see on Instagram was what I was talking about. You can serve them like this. Obviously, you can do it on a bigger plate. And I had them all arranged around. And then you can just take one and dip it and go. Or maybe have a little spoon because we're not, especially these times right now, we're not double dipping, right? Here, let me do another one. And I used a serrated knife. I guess it's fine to use a serrated knife. But you saw like how I tightly, it's like, it's very, everything's very tight. It's not loose. If you don't roll them tight, what happens is the noodles will just get loose and all the ingredients will kind of come out. But that's how you can serve them. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't oil them. I'm trying to think of other. I mean, if you want to make them ahead of time and make sure they don't stick, you could do that trick that I was telling you about, taking a paper towel and soaking it and then wringing it out and then weaving the paper towel in between them. And then once you're ready to serve them, take them out of the fridge and pull that paper towel out. That might work. Let's do one more. I wish you all were here with me because then we could share. I'll move this out of the way. We are actually in the middle of a kitchen remodel, so I love. It was like when I was talking to Wonderful about doing this cooking demo for y'all. I was like, I hope it's before we end up ripping out the countertops, and it ended up. It's actually perfect timing because they're coming next week to rip out the counters and install them. It's gonna happen on Monday. So again, I showed you, you just dip it. Do not let those rice papers soak. They don't need a bath. They don't need to take that long. I want to kind of know, like, do you guys like do you think it would be easier to roll if you just did it the way my mom makes it or the way with the shrimp on the outside here? I feel like it's easier to wrap with everything tightly contained. But since we do like pretty food, I'll show you that again. So I've got my lettuce here. Hopefully I have enough still, yep, of the cut up shrimp. See that? Cut in half. And I'm wiping my hand again. I know I'm repeating myself on that, but it's such an important thing. And whenever I'm making egg rolls, Vietnamese egg rolls, or I make crab rangoon at home, or wontons or dumplings, I always have a paper towel or a towel. You're constantly wiping your hands, your fingers to make sure so that when you do the next step, it's not sticking to your fingers. All right. We got the cucumber. I'm really excited to eat these in a little bit. I'm really sorry you don't get to share with me. All right. Drying my hands again. I'm going to tuck these in here. I'm going to see if I could show you a different angle. Let's see here. Let's see if I can do this. I don't think I've ever done this. So I'm doing the sides. All right. And it's going to be a little bit harder for me to tuck that, but I just wanted to show you the other end, what it looks like. And see, you'll see once you fold them how much. Like this one could have just been 3 shrimp, and I might take it out just because of the width. And so how many shrimp you use across is just determined on the size of your rice paper and then also like how you're folding it. So I'm totally doing it backwards for y'all. So I'm just making sure this gets all tucked in. See that? You see the sides are closed in, so they're sealed, nothing's gonna fall out. And I'm gonna do a roll, and I'm rolling tight as I can. Yay, that's the first time I've ever done that, y'all. And there we go. What do you think? I hope that you will try it. I hope you'll make it. And yeah, and I hope you enjoyed today's demo. And if you have any more questions, let me know. Am I allowed to eat? Marissa's coming back on soon. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm gonna pop over to see. Yay! Yeah, I'm really excited for you to try. You totally can do fusions. I should have mentioned because I completely forgot until now. Our kitchen classroom when you said about fusions. You can. I have a recipe for BLT spring rolls on my website, and it's literally what's going to build BLT with some rice noodles in rice paper, and then I made like a spicy mayo dipping sauce for it. It's really good. And I joke and say it's a bastardization. My ancestors probably would be not happy with it, but it's really, really good. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you all for joining. I so appreciate y'all, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it really helpful. And what I love is you can, if you join as a member, you can like watch the replay and see how to roll them. All right, I just dipped it. I'm gonna try it. Sorry not to make a mess. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Em. Thank you, Cosette. Oh, thank you, Rose. Sorry. Oh, hi, Julie. I really loved your name. So you want to see? After I bit into it, nothing's really falling out. I mean, I have a funny bite here, but nothing's falling out just because I tightly, let me see if you can see that better. I tightly rolled it. If it's too loosely rolled, when you go to bite it, and I have done that before, the rice noodles just come falling out. I'm so happy y'all joined today, and like I really hope that if you make them, take pictures and send them to me because I want to see. I'm really excited for y'all to try, and then also different flavors and adding different vegetables and different herbs, however you like. I mentioned lemon balm. If you ever had fresh lemon balm, it's so, so good. Yay, I'm so glad you're ready to try them. I know, I'm pretty hungry too. I don't know if I should share this, but I get pretty nervous when I do these. Before I teach like a workshop or speak at a conference or do like a cooking demo like this, so I couldn't eat before. So I'm gonna be eating after this, y'all. I love that someone else enjoys smashing the garlic too. Oh, yay, yeah. You know what? Latino World Travelers, um, Deconstructed is basically a noodle bowl, so it's perfect. Oh my gosh, Cheryl, I'm jealous. I have a black thumb. Um, I want to grow lemon balm too. I love it. It's awesome. I can never find seeds. I always have to find small little plants at like the nursery or something like that. So I need to find them again. Oh, let me show you this, my pretty little plate again. I'm gonna cut the other one. There we go. I'm gonna cheat a little bit, cut the one I already bit into. You can have a pretty plate. There we go. Get in my belly. So Marissa's having trouble getting back in. So I just wanted to say on behalf of Marissa and Wonderful, thank you so much. Thank you all for joining today's cooking demo, showing you how, oh, wait. She's here, maybe?
Maybe. Can you hear me or see me?
I can hear you, I can't see you. There we go, I can see you now.
Yay! Sorry if there's
Thank
an
you so
echo.
much,
I'm
y'all.
like
Thank you.
on mobile, and sorry, I wanted to come back and say
No.
bye to you guys.
Okay.
But thank you so much, Julie. I was watching the whole time, and I have to say, I know last time we talked, we were chatting about how I always found it the most challenging to do the wrapping part, which I think Denise, if I recall correctly, said that she also has challenges with that. So I'm glad I'm not the only one, but you make it look so easy. And this was super helpful. I'm also very hungry now. But it all looks delicious, and I can't wait to try and make it myself. I second your request to, if anyone makes them, to send their photos over, because I would love to see those. Share them in the wonderful member community. If you're a member, I'm sure other people would love to see those as well. And thank you all for being here today. I'm glad you tuned in. Thanks for watching if you're checking out the recording later. And make sure to join us as a member, get that $15 off and lock in the discounted rate. If you signed up through Eventbrite, you should be getting a follow-up email with that code. So just in case you didn't write it down, and the link as well, you can get that right in your inbox. But otherwise, thank you all. Special thanks to Julie, of course, for sharing all your skills. I'm glad we caught you just in time before your kitchen remodel as well.
Oh yeah, it was
Perfect timing.
literally perfect timing, because I called them this week and I was like, "When are you coming?" And they said, "We're coming on Monday." I was talking to them yesterday, so it was like perfect.
Great timing. But I'm glad it worked out. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Make sure you connect with Julie in all the places. Check out that photo on Instagram if you're looking to make some extra pretty food. And we will see you all around the member community or the Wonderful Network.
Bye. Thank you so much, Marissa.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.